Okay, before we start this video, I need to make some disclaimers outside of the content warnings I put at the beginning. First off, I'm reading Devilman through the perspective of it being a love story between Ryo and Akira. If you do not like this interpretation or the ship itself, this video may not be to your liking. Secondly, I am using he/him on Yoro Asuka / Satan because the official English translation does so post-Satan reveal. Thirdly, I am going to be talking about some Devilman sequels that I would 100% not recommend to people under the age of 18, read or watch due to extreme violence, gore, and sexual situations. I am aware Devilman is 16+, but know that some of its other media is not. If you're younger and want to go ahead and check them out, I can't stop you, but please keep these things in mind. Lastly, I am not saying Devilman or Ryokira is quote-unquote good gay rep. I like Devilman, and the gay is just a bonus. "2022 marked the 50th anniversary of Kyoshi Go Nagai's cult classic, Devilman. 2023 marks the 5th year anniversary of an infamous adaptation to mark the 50 years that Go Nagai has been a mangaka. I'm aware that this was meant for June 11th, 2022, but I have real life. My apologies. Devilman was built off of a manga of his that ended prematurely, Maodante. Maodante is a 1971 manga about a boy named Ro Atsugi who gets called upon by his past life to awaken and destroy God and humanity for invading the demon's home of planet Earth. It was born out of the American occupation of Japan and the Cold War era. After its cancellation, Toei Animation approached Nagai to remake a story. Toei would produce a more children-oriented version, while Nagai would make his own preteen teenage version. Devilman tells the story of high school student Akira Fudo, who gets possessed by a demon after his best friend, Yoro Asuka, weaves a tale of demons and Armageddon after his own father became possessed. He battles the demons Ogwell, Gelmer, Cyrene, and Jinmin while hiding it from the Makimuras, the family he's staying with. When the leader of the demons, Xenon, wreaks havoc upon the world, Akira discovers that his own best friend was Satan, and Miki Makimura suffers the consequences and perishes in a mob. Akira declares that he will fight Satan, despite neither of them wanting to fight each other because they're in love. But they have no choice. Satan wins the fight, but at the cost of killing the very man he loves the most. Also, I have literal proof that Nagai said Devilman is a love story between Ryo and Akira. Here's translations from interviews by the man himself. Okay, thanks, bye. Man, you'd think in the 50 years that Devilman has existed, we would get a reciprocated Ryokira kiss. In the 50 years that Devilman has existed, it has seen countless merch, side materials, and sequels, which has led some people to believe that they're connected via a time loop. In fact, there's a chart that explains how each of the sequels and spin-offs connect to the original manga. Violent Jack is labeled as true sequel. I am electing to ignore it. Is this time loop theory canon? Don't other pieces of media influenced by Devilman use a time loop too, like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Madoka Magica? Well, why don't we take a look? If you aren't really familiar with Devilman or haven't consumed much outside of, say, the manga, the 1980s OVAs, and Crybaby, don't worry. I have you covered. For 2 months, I spent my time rereading and rewatching and even starting new Devilman things I hadn't seen before, just for the 50th anniversary. I know it's several months past. I have real life, okay? I am insane. But for the sake of my sanity, I will not be covering the following: the Mitsuru Hirata adaptation of the 1972 anime. I couldn't really get into the manga, and I just didn't really like it, and this is my video, so I get to choose what I get to cover. Heart. Iron Virgin June. There's only like one Devilman part. I am not subjecting myself to the whole thing, and it's not really relevant to anything. Though we do like Disco Vampire Rio. That's good. The Violent Jack OVAs. I have only watched one, and I am never watching another one. They're needlessly violent and gory, and they're so bad that the English dub is banned in Australia and New Zealand. No. Devilman Grimoire. Yeah, the manga has put lolicon stuff, and no, I'm not subjecting myself to that. Devilman vs. Hades. It's too out of character for my liking, and I really don't have enough investment in Akimiki to justify reading that, so. Cyrene-chan. It's nasty. She pees on Ryo and lays an egg. I'm not reading it again. I think that's most of the things I'm skipping. Am I missing anything? No, I'm not missing anything. Before we jump into this crazy ride, I'm going to remind some people of some character names because names change depending on the adaptation and some people may not know them. Okay, so we have Miko Kawamoto. She is a Devilman who is sometimes in adaptions, sometimes she isn't, whatever. Psycho Jenny, Satan's catty little lesbian. Dosoroku and Masa, some delinquents that bother Akira and Miki sometimes. Masami Izumi, a side character from the end of the manga. You should stan her. She's the dog devil man that she explains Satan to Akira, okay? Kaim, Cyrene's male wife. Amon, the demon Akira fuses with. Oh, and Tarek, Miki's little brother. Also, Miki's parents' names are Akiko and Kozo. I don't think he's named Kozo in the Crybaby. I don't remember. I don't really care. I won't do much literary analysis here because, well, there's a lot I could say and that would take up too much time. I will provide commentary when necessary, but sometimes I won't. Okay? Okay. Anyways, let's go. The big original, the Devilman manga. This ran in Kodansha's Weekly Shonen Sunday from June 11th, 1972 to June 24th, 1973. The day the first chapter dropped in Weekly Shonen magazine, Nagai saw a photo from the Vietnam War in the newspaper. It happened to be the photo of a little girl running away naked from an explosion. Its original edition concluded with 5 volumes. Over the years, Nagai has constantly added and changed stuff, and now there are 3 versions of the original manga printing. The deluxe edition was released in 1987 and is what the official English translation is based off of. Dynamic Pro told 7Seas to translate this. They had no say. Do not get mad at 7Seas. The most recent edition is the 50th anniversary edition, which came out in 2017. Thank you, Mr. Salem Wasteland, for making a guide showcasing the differences in the original and deluxe edition, because I used it. We do stan.
The deluxe edition added in a prologue chapter of God versus the demons, and Akira's parents getting bored by demons in the Himalayas. However, it cut out a very important scene of Akira and Ryo in the hospital after Akira's possession.
It also moved things around for volumes 2 and 3 with Akira's fight after Cyrene being Jinmin in the deluxe edition.
It also removes a very famous fan fave scene of Ryo attacking a demon on his own with an umbrella. Sucks. It's such a good scene. The spider fight is the last fight before the Xenon attack, and in the original, Akira fights Zahn. In the deluxe edition, he fights Rasper. Who gives a fuck? The deluxe edition then does Shin Devilman. I won't talk about Shin Devilman now since it's a separate spin-off. Before Xenon's attack in the deluxe edition, we have a side story about the main 3 going to a beach to swim. Basically, while Akira and Miki are swimming in the ocean, Ryo has jealous gay disease and astral projects. Yes, he got that mad. He awakened Satan powers to call upon a demon. The demon attacks Miki and Akira saves her. Meanwhile, Ryo passed out from calling a demon and has a dream of Akira being homophobic and straight to him. With his whole booty out. A new short story was added after the Xenon attack. This one, called Fallen Angel, is about Ryo having a dream about discovering himself in the Himalayas as Satan, with a flashback to fighting God, which is eerily similar to the opening scene of the deluxe edition. After the mob slaughter and Xenon calling Satan a useless gay, in the deluxe edition, Akira is seen walking the empty streets of Tokyo with a briefcase. There he has a bunch of emo flashbacks involving Miki. In the briefcase is Miki's head, and he is looking for a place to bury it. While he's burying it, Ryo appears behind him to talk to him, but Akira is a dramatic butthead and instead walks past him. You could have gone the other way, you idiot. The deluxe edition added additional pages to Akira and Ryo's final fight.
Here's an interesting little tidbit, actually. When Volume 2 of the Classic Collection dropped, people noticed that in Satan's explanation of his motives, the wording was changed. The scanlation specified God as Satan's father. In the English edition, he referred to God as my parents. People speculated why the change and if the scanlation was just wrong. With the help of Kia Roy Asaka, we were able to find a copy of the deluxe edition in Japanese. And yes,
He did refer to God as his parents in that edition. June Cat Wafers and Ellen Doki Doki Master translated the raws of the original edition and deluxe edition and confirmed the dialogue had been changed. You can pause the vid to read their commentary on the translation and all that. This is speculation only, but the change might have been done to align with Gnosticism. Unfortunately, I am not aware of all the changes made in the 50th anniversary edition. From what I've seen floating around, Volume 1 consists of really weird redraws. Nagai wants us all to stop memeing on, "My father died." Sorry, Mr. Kiyoshi. No. There's a new scene for when Jenny knocks Akira out with her laser beam aim. She flashes him. Love it. The 1972 anime developed separately from the original manga. It ran on the channel NET, which is now TV Ashi, from July 8th, 1972 to April 7th, 1973. The story follows titular character Devilman after he possesses the body of Akira Fudo while joining his father, Reijiro, on an expedition. He's the strongest member of the demon tribe and is sent to infiltrate human society. He forgets all of this and instead falls in love with Miki Makimura. So now it becomes a Monster of the Week story with various demons attacking Devilman for betraying them. A lot of the TV series would later influence the manga itself, as well as later adaptations of Devilman, such as Akira's parents dying in the Himalayas while investigating the demons. Sadly, I didn't get to watch the rest of the eps because the download link went down. I'll finish it someday, it's a fun watch.
There was also a crossover movie with Mazinger Z, but I couldn't find the good subs. Go figure. Next up is Oh. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Violence Jack is a seinen manga that has a complicated run history. It started on July 22nd, 1970 Clue, and didn't conclude until March 23rd, 1990. The first run concluded on September 29th, 1974 in Weekly Shonen Sunday. The second run lasted from January 1977 to December 1978 in Monthly Shonen Magazine. Finally, the third run started on August 5th, 1983 and concluded in March 1990 in the weekly manga Goraku magazine. It's the longest Devilman-related media to date, with over 45 volumes. Many people view Violence Jack as something similar to the Tezuka star system, a concept Tezuka used to explain why he often reused characters in different stories. I disagree and say Nagai's works exist in some weird sort of multiverse that branch out with different canons. Violence Jack has cameos from Cutie Honey, Mazinger Z, and Gorilla High. Nagai had always intended to make Violence Jack the sequel, and in one interview, he had planned its ending since he started it. Good one, Kiyoshi. Violence Jack is a post-apocalyptic story about what happens to the Kanto region of Japan after an earthquake dubbed the Hellquake. It focuses on big, huge man named Jack. Violence Jack. He's been branded with this name due to his use of a huge jackknife. Jack has no memories and spends most of his time helping the weak. An anthology that focuses on multiple characters. It ranges from Mondo and Mito from Gorilla High, some elementary school students, and the most infamous of all, dog people. Ryo and Miki do in fact date in this. I hate this shit. He's gay. Miki can do better than this. Disgusting.
Meanwhile, Honey Kisaragi is looking for her missing brother, James Kisaragi. It's Ryo. Ryo's fucking name in Violence Jack is also James. Jimmy Kisaragi.
Unfortunately, the English scanlations are incomplete and much of the raws are unavailable. There is an official Italian translation and a completed Spanish scanlation. The best way to learn the lore comes from the last 200 pages. Thank you to Tumblr user Where's the Phone /Nunu for translating it.
The Slum King goes to face off against Jack for the last time. He was told to go to the east to see that which he loves by the Slum Queen. As they fight, Dog, Ryo, and Miki make their escape. They watch as Jack fights the Slum King. Dog Ryo tries to help, but he's chopped in half. Dog Miki charges at the slum. I can't take any part seriously with dog people. I am so sorry. Dog Miki charges at the Slum King, but gets knocked away. In the ensuing chaos, she's stabbed through the heart via the Slum King's sword, getting snapped in half. Jack eventually slices the Slum King's head off with his knife and holds his trophy. Jack looks to see the corpses of Ryo, Miki, and Miki turns back into a dog, like an actual dog. Ryo was fucking in a dog the entire time. Are you kidding me? I However, we find out that the Slum King survived. Even the Slum King is surprised. Dog Rio appears before him saying, "Tee-hee, I was the one who revived you," even though we clearly saw Dog Rio get chopped in half. Dog Rio reveals himself as Satan to the Slum King. Satan recreated this world himself, and the Slum King is some kind of weirdo projection thing of him. The Slum King is actually just Xenon. What did he even say to Xenon? You know what? Let's move on. Meanwhile, Girl Jack runs off to find Bear Jack to tell him that Satan has been revived. This world was created from Rio's guilt. He remade the Earth after Devilman, but he had a PTSD moment seeing Tokyo and sent it all to ruin. He punished himself by creating the Slum King, who represented everything he hated about himself. Many characters in Violent Jack were just split off avatars of Rio. Rio split Akira into 3 different people and revived him because he loved him so much. However, in reincarnating Akira, he lost control of the world he created. So, he figured if the honeys couldn't save him, he was, a bad person. Akira decides he needs to make Rio stop fucking up the world, and all 3 Jacks come together to become Akira again. He fights Satan above the earth with Rio not even trying to attack him. Akira pummels his way to get through to Rio and transforms back into his human form. Rio does the same. They burn up and everything is peaceful in Kanto again.
A lot of people have different interpretations on what Akira and Rio burning up means, like them dying finally ends the cycle, or perhaps it represents them becoming the new gods of the world since Akira forced Rio to forgive himself. I think the gods thing makes the most sense since we see them burning up in the comet and it eventually becomes the sun. While everyone was trying to figure out whether or not Violent Jack was indeed connected to Devilman, Nagai released a new side manga co-written with his brother Yasutaka called Shin Devilman. Shin Devilman is a 5-shot manga published in Kodansha's Shonen Magazine Special from May 25th, 1979 to May 8th, 1981. Akira and Rio are sent to different time periods to prevent the demons from messing with the flow of history to cause great carnage. Shin Devilman is actually the first Devilman-related media to come to the US. Yes, it even predates the old Devilman OVAs. Glenn Dazing, yes, the Glenn Dazing of the Misfits, is a huge Devilman fan. He has a tramp stamp of the Japanese logo. Dazing attempted to bring the series over using his own comics publishing company, except he only did Shin, and it greatly pissed Nagai off. The translation is awful. It spells Rio's name wrong many times, and the coloring. The coloring. This made Nagai so mad that he refused to let an American company do another translation for his works. It's so funny, imagine being a huge fan of this guy's series and then you fuck up any chances of getting an official English translation. Anyways. The deluxe edition inserted the whole manga in between volumes 2 and 3. The original chapter 2 of Shin became the first chapter of it in deluxe, but I will be recounting it as originally published.
The first chapter opens on Akira being a weirdo drama king. He's going to visit Rio at his house, only for it to be attacked by a worm demon. Akira defeats it easily, but Rio doesn't feel well, and they find themselves in Vienna pre-World War I, I think? And there they meet Hitler.
Okay. Pause time. I am legally allowed to comment on this chapter because I am ethnically and religiously Jewish. Don't argue with me in the comments, thanks.
So essentially the demons decide to pose as a Jewish man who, for the love of God, that is such a stereotypical evil rich Jew look. Man, the demon poses as a Jewish man to buy a painting off of Hitler. The painting is of his first love. They paid him extra, and when he goes to return the money, the evil Jew has his woman. They kill her, and Akira blasts the demon into flames. This was all just a ploy to get Hitler to hate Jews, so he'd start the Holocaust.
I don't think Nagai was intentionally being anti-Semitic here. However, I'm gonna say, yeah, this chapter is anti-Semitic as hell. I really hope I don't need to explain to you people why it's bad to have a demon pretend to be a Jewish person. It's such a cheapened take that, oh, he hated a little bit, but this made him want to kill them. Like, that's so diminishing of the rampant anti-Semitism in Germany at the time. Come the fuck on. I'm not gonna do a huge dissertation on one singular chapter because I have a bunch of other shit to cover, like the next chapter of Shin.
This chapter is about the demons intending to capture Jeanne d'Arc to prolong the 100 Years' War. The demons attempt to put her on trial for trying to stop the war, calling her a witch. Akira comes in and saves her, then returns her to her own time. The irony is that despite having been saved, she would still die at the stake as a witch. That's really all there is to it. Chapter 3 finds Akira and Ryo in ancient Greece during the Cretan War in 200 BC. I think it's the Cretan War since that was the only war Greece participated in 200 BC. Ryo and Akira are on a ship that is suddenly attacked by the enemy with bazookas. It's revealed that the goddess Nike gave it to them. Akira's like, what the fuck? Why would you give ancients modern-day weapons? Nike tries to get them to shoot him, but Akira evades it. Ryo's boyfriend's senses are tingling, and he teleports to go help Akira. Nike tries to reawaken Amon and Akira, but Ryo suddenly appears and chops her head off. Ho ho ho, I wonder if that's supposed to be symbol. Akira and Ryo are then transported to France during the French Revolution. Marie Antoinette is possessed by a demon who attempts to thwart the revolution. They teleport inside her heart, I guess, and we have the infamous interesting panel. While Ryo and Akira try to find the demon, we're shown different moments of the French Revolution until Akira pulls out the demon finally, and then Miss Antoinette gets guillotined. Oopsies! The last one happens during the Battle of Little Bighorn. The chapter is honestly really sweet, if you ignore the carnage. You know, Ryo's ass was thinking that this was a date in his mind. This is also where Ryo tries to come out to Akira, but Akira thinks it's a funny little joke. They're staying with the Cheyenne tribe while they figure out what's going on. The demons decide to take over the 26th Cavalry to slaughter the Sioux and Cheyenne women, while the men sign a deal to make an alliance. Akira and Ryo return to find the tribe slaughtered, and he kills the white man. Good for him! The last bit of this chapter is just that thing I already explained in the deluxe edition. Anyways.
I like Akira and Ryo's characterization, Shin, but some of the stories are not very good. In the 1980s, there would finally be an attempt to adapt the manga into an animated format. These OVAs received their plot from a light novel series written by Nagai's brother, the same one who helped him write the Shin Devilman manga. I'll talk more about the light novels later. According to Nagai's Vintage Manga Museum, the OVA was not storyboarded. They specifically used the manga as their storyboard. I think most everyone has probably watched these at the very least, but I promised you I'd summarize most every single Devilman media. Let's get to it. The first one, Devilman The Birth, was released on November 1st, 1987. The animation is produced by O Productions, a studio owned by someone who had previously worked with Miyazaki of Studio Ghibli. It's about 50 minutes and covers the first volume of the manga.
We open up on Satan and God fighting in prehistoric times, before it cuts to a bunch of scientists in Antarctica in the 1980s, which include Akira's parents. They unwittingly discover the demons and get eaten by them. Flash forward to Akira getting beaten up by some bullies after discovering that they killed a bunch of bunnies. Miki goes to confront them so she and Akira can head home, but the bullies back off. As they make their way home, a mysterious figure appears looking for Akira. It's Ryo! He asks Akira to come to his house. Miki wants to come too, but Ryo pulls a knife on Miki to get her to leave. Man, I know I said I wasn't going to do literary analysis on this, but man, come on. Why'd you characterize him like this? Well, I guess it could be worse. Ryo and Akira make their way to the Asuka Manor while we get the usual rundown of what happened to Ryo's father. When they arrive at the manor, Ryo puts the demon skull on Akira's head to show him demon history. I think this is the only canon outside of the manga that uses the demon skull. They get attacked by demons and quickly exit the manor for their safety. Ryo tells Akira he's the only person he trusts, and I think that they are gay people. They evade death and return to the manor to go to the hippie basement. Why does he have this in his house? Why? They party at the Sabbath for a bit before Ryo starts being a villain-coded gay and kills people for dolls. The other partygoers eventually get pissed off and start beating the shit out of them. Wow, they hate gay people. In the midst of the beatdown, a bunch of people get possessed, including Akira. He's no longer Amon. He's eating poo-poo and heck right now. Akira beats the shit out of everyone while Ryo is like, "Aw, fuck. I fucked up. After Akira's killing spree, he calms down and attempts to find Ryo. He's died. Okay, no, he's not. I'm lying.
The end. Okay, it's not the end. We had a second OVA. Devilman, the Demon Bird, was released on February 25th, 1990. The OVA covers the second volume and parts of the third volume of Devilman.
Akira receives a call from Jinmin. Okay, how did Mr. Turtleman manage to get into a telephone booth? This is the 1980s. Did he just flip through a phone book to find Makimura? Whatever. After a parkour session, Akira finds Jinmin's location. Hey, remember how Akira's parents died in the first OVA? Yeah, guess what? Jinmin ate his mom, a stark contrast from the manga. It hits harder, not going to lie. Akira struggles to fight against Jinmin and that, well, his mom's head is on his skull and that would involve killing her, plus he doesn't want her to see his demon form. Eventually, he gives in and fights Jinmin, but still struggles. His mom calls out to him and tells him to accept her death. He realizes that killing Jinmin will put his mom and the others out of their misery. Bye, turtle fuck. The next day, Akira visits Ryo in the hospital. Yes, we're at her infamous, "You seem very well" scene. They talk about the state of the world and their future. Akira returns home and dreams of Miki's future death, with Ryo attempting to kill Miki, symbolizing that Akira would blame Ryo initially before later blaming himself for her death. He wakes up screaming and Miki tries to help him out, but not before Akira teases Miki about being a part of the itty-bitty titty committee. Later, Cyrene swoops into the Makimuras to defeat Devilman. She calls upon her minions, Gelmer and Agwell, to help attack. Akira senses it in time to see the Makimuras, save Tare, be attacked by both demons. Miki gets targeted by Gelmer, and Agwell attempts to stop him. Akira kills that fucker. Akira manages to defeat Gelmer and save Miki. Then Cyrene reaches in and whisks him away with her claws. Akira's like, shit. Fuck. God damn it. Meanwhile, Ryo's boyfriend's senses are tingling. He hops in his car, but not without his cape. He probably used that to dress up as a vampire for Halloween to save Akira. Ryo finds Akira in time and with the coolest shot in any Devilman media, shoots Cyrene so she drops Akira. Cyrene launches her claw at Ryo to end him. Akira and Cyrene fight to the death and cause the deaths of many civilians, including, but not limited to, some random truck driver, a whole-ass airplane full of people, and a random town. Good for them, I guess. In the wake of their destruction, they find a lake and start launching logs at each other. Eventually, Cyrene calls her claw back and rips Akira's arm off. Ouch! She intends to attack him again with her claw, but Akira grabs her antenna with his own, getting Cyrene stabbed instead. While she's out bleeding, Cyrene calls upon Xenon to help her out. He just sends her kind because that's her male wife. He sacrifices himself to let Cyrene because he's whipped. They fuse and impale Akira on Kaim's horns. Akira's pretty wounded and loses control of his demon form and passes out. When he comes to, Akira sees Ryo over him and reveals to him that Cyrene died before she could deliver the final blow. Also, he reattached his arm.
The end. Okay, for real this time. They never made a conclusion to this OVA series. The whole third OVA script was completely written, and there's promotional art of Masami Izumi. But Japan hit a recession in the early 90s, and I believe the director passed away. So they would later release another OVA, but I'll talk about that later. Instead, a CD drama of the final few moments of Volume 5, using the completed script, came out in 1993. I am counting it as part of the OVAs. The translation I used was done by Tinsel on Tumblr, so thank you to Tinsel. I can't really do a B-roll for this because it's just words on a screen and I'm talking about it, so you're gonna have to deal with my face for a whole minute. Anyways, it opens on Akira confronting Ryo after the betrayal and Miki's death, while we have flashbacks to the TV broadcast and Miki's demise. Also, Ryo's voice is layered as he speaks of Satan. It's so sick. The conversation they have is similar to the manga, including talking to Masami about Satan. Xenon and Ryo talk about him being a useless gay bitch, and I'm ignoring that my woman half fell in love with him. Shut the fuck up. 20 years later, we hear the roar of battle between demons and Devilman with some narration. In the midst of it, Ryo begs Akira to just give up fighting and come live together with him and the demons. He refuses. That shit hurted. After all that fighting, we hear more peaceful music, and Ryo's voice as Satan is no longer layered. He talks to Akira as he dies, and just the way he says Akira, when he realizes Akira is dead. Fuck my ass. Just fuck my ass. Okay, seriously, if we got the third OVA, we'd all be dead. Now, if I'm talking about the 80s OVAs, I have to talk about the English dub. The dub came out in 1996, and they were not trying at all here.
Oh, dearie me, I've just kicked the bucket. Fuck you! Hey.
Akira Furo.
Huh?
Oh, of course, it's my old friend Rio. How the hell have you been keeping then? But you could easily hurt someone.
That's the idea.
If you ever say that again, I'll rip your fucking head off and shit down your neck, okay?
Let me know next time. I'll soap your tits for you. Whoa, hey!
It's such an all-time classic. What's funny is the old licensing company is based in the UK, so all the voice actors are British people doing American accents. The only people who are not voiced by fake Americans are Akira, who is voiced by a Canadian, and Rio, who actually is voiced by an American. In 1989, Devilman received its first ever video game. It was developed by Namco for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
It seems to be just a franchise type of game, so it's really like a normal half-baked video game you'd find in an arcade. It takes place around the initial Xenon attack with odd changes. Like, okay, a bunch of characters tell Akira to go find Miki, and then Miki goes, yeah, there's this guy named Mr. Asuka looking for you. Sprite is so ugly, oh my god. Then Rio does an explanation of the demons, even though I'm certain Akira is possessed at this point. Hello? You can also play as Miki, and you have the option to slap or stab people for no reason. Miki's parents get taken away really, really early on in the plot. I don't understand. Then you fight Cyrene, who, by the way, also has a really ugly sprite. While you try to go rescue Miki's parents, you can play as Dosoroku or Masa. They manage to rescue Miki's parents and Masami. Yay! Masami's in a game! Masami tells Akira towards the end of the game that, oh fuck, Rio is Satan. So you battle Satan, and you either win and get this new special ending where Rio's like, I'm out. Have fun dealing with my siblings. If you lose, you get the manga ending.
Yeah, this sure is a game you can play. Remember that OVA I was talking about earlier? You know, the one that got made instead of the third OVA of the Devilman one? Yeah, we're gonna come back to it. Chibi Chara? Chibi Chara or should it Chibi character? I'm just calling it Chibi Chara. Chibi Chara Go to Guy World was released in a 3-episode OVA from February 21st, 1991 to June 27th, 1991. This is more of a funny parody series with a crossover with Mazinger Z.
The first ep, our main trio finds themselves shrunken down to chibi size. To figure out what's going on, they travel to the giant iceberg where all the demons hide. Meanwhile, Cyrene comes up with a trap to get Amon back. Jinmin intends to attack Devilman to get recognized by Xenon. Also, he has a wife and kids. It's so funny. Jinmin attacks the trio, but Miki hacks his head off with a butcher knife. Jinmin head survives, so they roast his carcass and eat it. While they sleep, a minion of Cyrene comes along and kidnaps Miki. Rio could care less. Akira wakes up and finds a note telling him to go save Miki. Rio's like, yeah, okay, that sucks, but like, we have other things to do. Akira saves her anyways. Jinmin makes fun of Rio for getting rejected and calls him a homo. After having a running gag with a poop demon upon arriving at the iceberg, Akira runs up to save Miki. It's really Gelmer in Miki's dress. Later, after falling for "It says gullible" on the ceiling, Akira finds Miki and realizes it's Gelmer. Cyrene comes up with her tits out to entice Akira, but he gets a nosebleed and passes out. Rio has an angry gay moment, then Baron Ashura from Mazinger Z shows up to take him into their rocket ship? The ship's sound effects are someone making weird noises. I love it. They think that because Ryo is Satan, he's created this world. He says no and gets embarrassed. Akira wakes up and is then asked to choose between Miki or Cyrene. To save his ass, he says he's Devilman, but Miki's like, yeah, I already knew that. I read the manga. Tough luck! He chooses Miki, but then Cyrene gets mad and starts kicking his ass. Ashura shows up to the iceberg and, oh hey, Kaim! Because their boss, Dr. Hell, wants Cyrene as his bride. Ryo tries to kill Miki, but he ends up killing Cyrene instead. They take her away to Mazinger Z World! In episode 2, Kaim runs off to go save his wife. Akira and Miki pass through the dream bubbles to find Ryo. Sorry for Homestuck, sorry. Koji Kabuto of Mazinger Z sneaks up on Ashura's ship to investigate. Mr. Asuka starts making deals with the Mazinger Z people, specifically Ashura and Dr. Hell, so he can go fly into the sun and kill God. Koji attempts to battle Ashura's ship, but Ryo uses his Satan light show powers and sends him flying. Ryo tries to get Cyrene to marry Dr. Hell, but she fucks off. Akira and Miki run into Koji, who thankfully didn't die from a zinger falling out of the sky. He takes them to the underground laboratory where they do some mecha shit. Sayaka Yumi, Koji's Jeef, drives them there. Okay, so Ashura and Dr. Hell take their ship to the Getter Robo guys to get it fixed. It's so funny. While they're getting it fixed, Miss Jennifer arrives asking Satan why he's still in human form. Then they are catty little gay bitches. Love that for them. Sayaka asks Miki where Akira went. She's like, oh yeah, I think he went to go fight his boyfriend. It's so sad. Sayaka, somehow the most normal person here, is confused. Cyrene and Kaim are in Hetz now. It's fine. Good for them! Akira attempts to stop Ryo from destroying the world. He's only doing it because he doesn't want to be made a fool of in a parody world. Akira tells him even if he defeats the god of this world, then they'll just go back to fighting. Can't believe this stupid parody OVA is making me emo. Ryo decides he'd rather not be a plaything of God and flies to the sun. The sun's literally Nagai. Ryo wants to kill Nagai. Akira goes off to fight him if he wants to disrupt the world order. In the final ep, Koji goes and joins to help Akira fight Satan. Satan doesn't really want to fight them and captures Nagai. If they go near Go, it will suction them back to their real world. First they use Jinmin to test it out. Then Satan tries Koji, who says no, except Satan does it anyway. Akira tries to stop Satan, but he's sliced in half. Again. Koji gets really fucking mad that he killed Akira, so he uses a light beam attack on a guy who is literally the Angel of Light. It fails, and instead, Akira's severed torso falls to the ground. Satan explains to Koji that this is basically the scrapped ideal world of a guy. Anything he made for Mazinger or Devilman that didn't make it to the final cut goes into this world. Satan tells Nagai to revive Akira, but he's like, I can't. Satan gets really, really mad and tries to blow him up, but Koji recognizes that Satan loves Akira, so he blows up Mazinger to stop the fight. It works, but now Satan is in Violence Jack. Also, Akira's here. I mean Jack. Koji, Ashura, and Jinmin get stuck in Violence Jack world. They consider staying there, but Jack shows up and tells them that this is Violence Jack, not Mazinger. So Koji works with Ashura to go back to Mazinger. They manage to escape, and Sayaka tells Koji she's happy he came back. Koji's like, haha, yeah, everyone came back. Wait. Fuck. Jenny and Miki teleport behind Jack and are like, we know you're Akira. Stop lying to us. Jack is like, fuck. The end.
Also, this came out a year after Violence Jack. Imagine you haven't kept up with Violence Jack and you're like, oh, new Devilman thing, I'm gonna go watch it. And then it just spoils the ending of Violence Jack. You have to laugh at that.
In 1997, Revolutionary Girl Utena aired on TV Tokyo. Oh, and I guess Devilman Lady came out.
This is another one of those sequels to Devilman, except I feel like Lady fits better as a sequel than Violence Jack does. Devilman can stand on its own with no sequels, but Lady is... it's really awful to get through.
In fact, it's so awful to get through that most people suggest reading Kia's guide.
Anyways, Devilman Lady ran from January 30th, 1997 to July 6, 2000 in the Seinen magazine Weekly Morning.
The story is about a woman named Jun Fudo, a teacher at a high school who suddenly awakens as a Devilman when monsters attack her and her students on a field trip. A woman named Lan Asuka explains that Jun's parents have been doing research on this for years. There's these things called Devilman, who get possessed by demons but retain their humanity, and Devil Beasts, who become demons. She's asked to join her organization called the Human Alliance. Jun's hesitant. Jun says ACAB. I'm gonna skip a lot of this story because it's just annoying repeats of monster rape. Just know, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Also, Jun and Lan have gay moments. We love gay people. I will focus on one thing in particular. Lan gets in trouble and kidnapped and gets pretty traumatized. While she's recovering, some weirdo dude, who could he be? Tells her that she's the Serpent of Light. She passes out while thinking about how that weirdo dude made her sad. June's next assignment is investigating the embassy of Vulva, because apparently they want to open a portal to hell. They're gonna do it by raping her. June is in hell, and oh my god, is that Akira from Devilman? Hey buddy, I haven't seen you in a while. Akira saves June from some demon, and June cries like, OMG, who is he? Why am I so sad? I know why, June. Akira says June should go through the portal at the bottom of hell since she's alive. Akira leads her down there, but he's hesitant. Akira's ex is there, at the bottom of hell. He hasn't gone to say hi. Bitch, you admit you're in love with him and you're still like, no, we had a messy breakup, I can't. Akira explains what happened to the world he's from because apparently it ended. But June's here, so we found out that the current Earth is like a branch of the old one. Kind of like a reset. Ho ho. Devilman exists as a manga and Lady too, by the way. Love it. On their way down to hell, they fight Jinmin, and June reassures him during the fight that he didn't fail to save people. Oh right, Akira and June redacted on page for like 2 chapters. Comfort sex. Good for Akira. He says he loves a man on page and then fucks a woman on page. Bisexual rep. Akira fights Cyrene again and surfs her into volcano. Kinda. We have some Cyrene moments. I love those hats. June and Akira go to ice hell. Fuck the world. Akira keeps talking about Satan because he's a stupid little gay. They find Xenon frozen in ice. However, Satan isn't there. He's missing. Satan is in the real world. Uh-oh, sisters. June thinks that maybe the Devil Beast phenomena is Satan's doing. They go back to the real world, but uh-oh, Akira's a ghost. June has a crying moment and talks about how much she loves Akira. He tells her to go find Satan. She's transported back from Hell Portal and says she's not going to go to, the Embassy of Vulva. I wouldn't either, man, not after that shit. However, it seems that June can't find anything regarding the previous mission. It's been erased. She can't even remember Akira's name. Akira, however, went up to Earth to do some investigating. He thinks that Lan is kinda sus. She's the, Anyways, he does some funky time shit and goes back to Lana. Man, what is she doing here? He keeps going further and further back in time to figure out who Lan is and panics like, are you really not Rio? Do you not know who I am? I love to die and be dead. As he digs deeper into Lan's past, he gets stuck in some weird time warp thing and is eventually forced back into the present day. June is in class, but is about to transform into Devilman Lady. Akira possesses someone and helps calm her down. This is a callback to something else from the beginning that I just skipped over. Anyways, you know what else is a callback? Akira showing up and calling Lan the Serpent of Light. He freaks her out, yada yada, I already told you. Akira time travels to June's embassy mission and realizes all he can really do is look after June as a ghost. He screams about how he can't save the people he loves. Haha. That shit hurted. Isn't it funny how he says this while he's trying to find Rio too? Wow, yeah. June copes by fighting some monsters and shit. Also, this bitch shows up and you think he's Rio, but I'm gonna cut it short here and tell you he's a part of Xenon and it's a Maudante ref, okay? Okay. Meanwhile, some motherfucker in a chair with wings tells anyone to capture any Devilman that they can find. We're back to Lan. She goes to talk to June's dad, but Lan feels like she's being watched. And that mysterious shadowy figure with the wing goes, uh-oh, I need you bitches to be puppets for a little bit longer. Skipping more shit. June's mom had a previous marriage with a child. Her first husband divorced her because demons told him to. He took their baby who used psychic mind powers to go on HRT. Yeah, it's Lan. We have trans lesbian rep, but at what cost? Lan gets mad at June's mom because June's mom has been afraid of June. Lan says she sucks. Lan puts her shared mother with June on a plane, and then June's mom calls June. June and Lan now know that they're sisters. Then they redacted. While having sex, a devil beast breaks in and now everything is going to shit. The portal to hell has been opened and a bunch of demons are pouring in. We have more fighting, it's fine. Some person in the Human Alliance has ordered a nuke on Japan. June's dad tries to find out who it is, and that who is, the the Archangel Michael himself. Psych! You thought Wingman was Satan, but it was Michael Devilman! Michael is Satan's twin brother. Miss Psychotic Jennifer finds Lon to awaken her memories. June has more fighting and everyone is dead. She's sad. She returns to her apartment when... Lon shows up, except... Man... Why did Lon's body type have to change? Why does she have to look like this? Are you kidding me? God, this is so transmisogynistic. Anyway, she and June redacted. So then the next day, somehow, June is pregnant and ready to give birth. She has to shift into Devilman form to give birth to the baby.
I have to have this baby now.
Apparently, the baby... God, I want you guys to know while I was writing this, I was losing my mind. I was laughing so hard. I felt my soul leave my body. God, so the baby grew really fast and There's Akira. There's Akira looking like some 36-year-old in a 12-year-old body. I can't deal with this manga. June recovers from that birth and summarizes the whole story in one go. Miss Jennifer shows up suddenly with Lon to undo the hypnosis June's under. Akira looks like a 36-year-old again and finds June. There we see that June and Lon have fused together with two heads. June says goodbye and they finally fuse together. Yeah, so the whole time, June and Lon were Satan. They were fucking Satan. He split himself into two women to avoid suspicion by Michael. God, fucking. It was all a plan to revive Akira. So Rio asks, hey, you want to fight my brother and my dad together? Akira's like, yeah, sure. Michael gathers up his angel army and Akira, Rio gather up theirs. Then they go, haha, okay, let's go fight. The end.
No, we went on that whole fucking ride together. We learned so much. But it just ends. I fucking hate this manga so much. We get Canon Ryokira, but at what fucking cost? What fucking cost, Kyo? The Devil Lady is a loose anime adaptation of the manga. It was animated by TMS Entertainment and aired on the MBS station from October 11th, 1998 to May 9th, 1999 with 26 episodes. It tried to be more like a GL version of the original anime. Kind of. Lon is less sympathetic here.
June is a supermodel rather than a teacher, and after getting attacked, awakens the Devilman inside of her. Lon approaches her and asks her to join her organization, the Human Alliance, much like in the manga. Luckily, we don't have the weirdo pseudo-incest like in the manga, but God, Lon is so mean to June. Dislike. Not to mention, the reveal of her being a trans lesbian is worse than in the manga. It's revealed that Lon is a child of God, whatever, Satan, whatever you want to call it. And June and another demon lady decide to accept their fate as demons or whatever and fight her. The conundrum of shipping June-Lon. The mind boggles.
A 3-volume anthology of short side stories for Devilman released in 1990. Unfortunately, I could not find its release date or how this became to be, aside from it being a collection of stories by other authors and Nagai himself. There are a total of 18 stories, and some range from being really good or they're absolute fucking garbage. So I'm just handpicking the ones I like because it's my video. Heart!
We're starting with the first one because it makes me emo. Essentially, Akira and Rio have a talk before their final fight. Rio talks about how Satan is viewed as evil, and yet God is the one who punishes people. Rio asks Akira if he truly thinks he's evil. For most of the story, Akira is silent until he reaches over to give Rio a kiss, who, by the way, looks like he doesn't want to reciprocate. 'Cause it's Akira saying goodbye. Skipping on to chapter 5, we have a story by Go Nagai himself. This one focuses on Akira and Rio's final fight while we get flashbacks to them as middle schoolers and them hiking together. The world is a beautiful place, Akira. Fuck you. And the fact that the last thing Akira sees when he dies is Rio crying. Fuck you. We have another one by Nagai. This one is a companion to Devilman Lady. Kind of. It goes against things in canon. Actually, why do I even bother correcting canon at this point? This one is about Akira leading a devil beast through hell while Cyrene tries to fight him. I gotta admit, The best part of this chapter is 36-year-old Joth Akira Fudo. Cyrene tries to find Akira at some kind of bar in hell. It's so funny. Does Akira go bar hopping? I can't imagine that guy bar hopping even in his 30s. He tries to act like a spirit guide and ends up dragging this poor cat girl into one of his fights. Akira fights Cyrene and zaps Cyrene so hard the cat girl goes back to her time. There's another good one about a female classmate of Akira's that has a crush on him before he gets possessed. I think that's a nice perspective. There's also this retelling of the Cyrene fight where Rio looks like a gay biker and has a fucking tattoo of Devilman. Whoever wrote this, thank you. Chapter 16 is a little but I like the idea of it, you know. This one, Akira goes nuts after Miki's death and kills a bunch of his childhood bullies. Rio watches in horror and lies to Jenny that his plan succeeded. Jenny's like, I know you're lying, Lord Satan. Wow, how did I forget? This is the one where Akira tries to find Miki's body parts and tries to put it in a wedding dress. How did I forget this? Fuck you. Literally, fuck you. We're just gonna stop here with Neo Devilman. Fucking Christ.
The late 90s had a trend of producing more Devilman media made not by Nagai. This included Amon, The Dark Side of Devilman, written by the mangaka Kinutani. It was published in Monthly Seinen magazine from August 1999 to April 2004.
This manga is sort of a retelling of the original 1972 manga, with the idea that Akira gets so upset at Miki's death he loses control over Amon and he takes over the body instead. With Miki dead and Rio fucking off, Miko and Doshiroku are the ones who are left trying to deal with this mess. Zenon is like, hey, Satan, I think Amon reawakened, and Satan's like, don't worry, I will get my beef back. Amon wants revenge on Satan for putting him into Akira. Doshiroku fuses to become a Devilman and save Akira. He succeeds in reaching Akira's mind, but gets killed. Akira's taking a little snooze though. Zenon shows up to berate Amon for betraying Satan. Amon cares not. While they're talking, some Catholic fuck decides to blow them up. It does not work. Zenon warps Amon into another dimension, but at the last minute, Amon switches destinations. Here's Satan. Satan and Amon duel, or rather Satan decimates Amon in one goddamn go. In a last-ditch effort, Satan reaches out to Akira within Amon. He returns holding Amon's corpse, kisses him, and he turns back into Akira. Satan tells him goodbye and flies away. A lone feather floats down and touches Akira's lips. I'm only including this detail because it's him reciprocating the kiss. I love gay people. Akira awakens and turns into Devilman while remarking about having weird dreams. These dreams continue on for about 3 volumes and are a mesh of Akira's memories and Amon's memories. There's different Rios here, so I guess that represents Akira's issues with seeing Rio as Satan. Jenny appears, telling Satan he was also dreaming, I guess? She explains that he is stuck in a time loop, where he is forced to kill Akira over and over again. We're now thrown back into present time. Maybe. Somehow, despite their entire school being in shambles, Akira and Miki still have to go. Demons attack their school and Akira pwns them. It's kind of clear that he's having some issue disease moment, but it's fine, we're good. In the midst of fighting a demon, Akira has a weird intrusive thought and almost loses the fight. Rio's worried, but Akira brushes it off. It gets so bad he starts having really bad dreams that involve flooring people. Miki gets concerned and gets in bed with him. Akira wakes up thinking he did something to Miki, but she assures him he's good. Akira decides to go visit Rio in the middle of the night. Miko, meanwhile, attempts to outrun the demon hunters. She succeeds, but has a panic attack. Doshiroku and another one of his cronies, Manjiro, shows up and tries to help her. Then some weirdo man in a clown suit shows up. He takes Miko hostage and drives off with her. Akira arrives at Rio's house, and they have a chat about stuff and things. Also, this is such a gay look for Rio. Akira is scared he can't control Amon anymore and asks Rio to help him remember what happened at the Sabbath. The next time we see Akira, he's having some kind of freak out about still not being able to control Amon, but sees a guy being a creep to his Jeef. Akira kicks his ass for it. The girlfriend, however, was a demon, so she attacks Akira. Akira transforms and he wins. However, Akira's still fearful that he's not the one in control. Akira tries to save Miko the next day, and they look for her in the freaky Demon Court's HQ. Mr. Clownman shows up again and fights Akira, telling him Devilman don't exist. Rio's boyfriend senses are tingling, so he drives off to go find him. Mr. Clownman has Amon fall out of his eyeball? One of Doshiroku's cronies tries to blow up Mr. Clownman, but it fails. details. Ryo comes and takes Akira back to his house. Akira laments to Ryo that he isn't confident in his identity at the moment. He has a breakdown and loses control over Amon, while Ryo partially shifts into Satan for a moment and tells him he'll save him. Miki shows up suddenly, and this makes Akira's transformation revert back to human form. Ryo's fearful of what this means. Akira's still panicking about his identity while Miki thinks to herself that Akira's fine. Ryo decides that he's going to save Akira by broadcasting a video of him on TV when Dosoroku finds out. Ryo uses his mind powers on Dosoroku, and Ryo says, "I will be the one to save Akira, fuck you." Dosoroku attempts to save Miko again, and Akira joins for backup. Akira tells Dosoroku he'll save Miko himself. He succeeds and returns home. Akira and Miki discuss being demons versus being humans. Ryo then starts his broadcast. While he's portraying Akira, we have to watch Mr. Clownman being gay with this middle-aged scientist. Why? Plays out the same as the manga, with the whole Makimuras telling Akira to leave and Akira confronting Ryo. Dosoroku is there too though. Ryo tells Dosoroku he did this because he wanted Akira to himself. Akira attacks Demon Hunter HQ and confronts Mr. Clownman. Mr. Clownman is some kind of weird fragment of Mammon that didn't get absorbed. Akira manages to defeat the manifestation of his own fears and anxiety and survives. Miko, Manjiro, and Dosoroku are happy to see that Akira survived the ordeal. Akira returns to get Miki, but yeah, you know how it goes. Miki's dead. Sucks they completely cut her fight to the death out. Mr. Clownman didn't completely die and tricks Akira into thinking Miki's alive. Amon comes out, but he only does it so he can kill Mr. Clownman himself. Amon succeeds, and then Akira gets mad and refuses to let Amon take over. Ryo shows up to help him win, but, well, Akira's mad. Ryo accepts his fate. Then it fades out, and we have a remake of the original opening of the Devilman manga.
Devilman later got its second video game in the early 2000s. The game was developed by Bandai and was playable on the PlayStation and Windows 98. It spans 3 chapters and stops at the Cyrene fight.
So, Devilman is kind of hard to adapt as a video game, so the only really enjoyable chapter is the first one, except I don't know what any of them are saying. I can't really comment on the writing. I like Akira's voice actor in it. Ryo's is too deep for my liking. The first chapter is basically the first volume with some padding of trying to sneak around Ryo's house to avoid demons and probably learning demon lore. Also, I lose my mind every time Akira turns into Devilman here. The demons have already killed all the partygoers, so Ryo just starts shooting Akira, and then he gets pinned down by a demon, and then his fucking sprite expands and BAM! Devilman. The next chapter is boring. It involves Susumu getting eaten and the whole Jinman fight. They make the manga's intended victim Sachiko a friend of Tare's. Basically, Akira tries to find Tare and Sachiko in the subway because Miki's lying there unconscious. Now, there's this dumb mechanic where you have a time limit to be Devilman as Akira. What the fuck? See, this is why there aren't more Devilman video games. It's too hard to adapt into that medium. If you 100% both chapters 1 and 2, you can unlock chapter 3, which is a 15-minute fight with Cyrene. It's such a funny opening. Miki's in the ambulance after the subway attack, and then Cyrene reaches in and takes Akira out of it. Hello? If you 100% all of it, you can unlock the 1972 anime special feature with a cool new skin and a different story. Also, Cyrene's voice actress here would later go on to voice Cyrene in Crybaby.
If someone wants to translate the ROM that's going around, be my guest. 9 months after the release of the Amon manga, an OVA adaptation was released as a pay-per-view event called Amon: The Apocalypse of Devilman, animated by Studio Live. It's kind of a loose adaptation of the Amon manga. It tried to serve as a sequel to the Demon Bird OVA, but it's not well written.
We open up on some kid being chased by a demon, and Miko, yeah, Miko, is like, haha, it was a trap, and melts the guy with her acid tits. Miko isn't victorious, and she's later saved by Akira, who looks like an emo goth. Meanwhile, Mr. Ryo Asuka is getting ready for a broadcast. He looks like some kind of uber slut here. They were so smart to give him a choker. Miki later returns home, and Tare tells her that Akira hasn't come back. Their parents are out hunting demons, apparently. Ryo starts his broadcast, and Miko and Akira have to pause their gay bar outing. Let's stop here for a moment. The video Ryo shows here is so funny. Akira gets his ass kicked and gets possessed. Then he eats a pair of tits. Tare is the only one in the Makimura household watching the broadcast, and he runs to get Miki. And then he gets shot in the head? Miki's like, huh? What's going on? Now she's dead. Akira runs back to Miki's house to check on her to make sure she's okay, except she's died. Instead of exploding everyone with his mind powers, I think I think he vores them? The next day, a bunch of demons try to attack the Devilman Corp, and Miko's like, hey, Akira, I think you are having a mental illness moment. And guess what? He does. So Amon takes over while Akira goes to the emo corner of his brain. Amon decimates a bunch of people, and Miko barely manages to escape. Satan and Jenny are watching the carnage and hang out on some church. Amon approaches Satan like, you motherfucker, you put me in this guy. For your own amusement, Satan's like, hey, watch this. Akira wakes up in his mindscape, but he's been going on dates with Miki for no reason at all. Die, Akimiki propagander. Amon says, hey fucker, fight me for control of your own body. Akira gets his ass kicked, obviously. Miki shows up in his mindscape again. Akira's like, no, you're so sexy, don't die, ahaha. Miki give him kiss. He then repeatedly punches Amon. It's the same animation for a whole minute. They just sped it up. Akira reclaims his body and then falls to the street. His ass is out. We pan out and there's a huge dick imprint in the street. Akira later buries Miki's head and Ryo approaches him. Hey, wait a minute, this is a reference. Instead of walking the other way, Akira walks past Ryo and says nothing. Drama queen. Then we get some kind of early 2000s soft rock song that would have played at the end of a Disney Channel original movie.
This OVA is not good. You can get a good laugh out of it, but yeah, it's so boring. Its vibes are immaculate. Whoever decided to put Satan in a cross choker, genius.
Violence Jack, Demons in a War-Torn Land was a 2001 one-shot. I couldn't find too much info about it, but it's really short and kind of weird. It's about samurai attacking people and Jack helps them. The end. This has got to be the funniest Devilman related thing ever. In 2003, Nagai was asked to make a manga to advertise the Mercedes-Benz SLR. Akira goes the speed limit. It's so funny, everyone passes him. Then the funny delinquents try to trash the car, so he uses his Devilman powers to turn it into a Mercedes-Benz SLR. Then Akira and Miki kiss.
Also, I think Ryo is driving a Porsche and has black hair. In what world would Miki Makimura call Ryo cool? In 2004, the critically acclaimed Devilman movie arrived in theaters. I have watched this movie 4 times, and I'm not going to rewatch it a 5th time solely to jog my memory when I already know its plot by heart because it's a cinematic masterpiece. I'm lying. It's not a good movie. It's bad. Kira and Ryo are played by twins. That should tell you something right off the bat.
Ryo's like some kind of weirdo in this movie and opens on Ryo and Akira as children. Oh, this sounds familiar. It's just like Crybaby. Later, as a teenager, we learn that Akira's been adopted by Miki's parents, so they decide to still push for Rocky Miki. Akira's a mega nerd, yet is on the track team. I love the shot of Ryo running while Akira's on the ground. But because Ryo's an evil weirdo, people regularly start shit with Akira over him. One guy defends Akira, though, because when Ryo showed up to come to class to cut his fingers off, Kira held his fingers. Ryo then comes along with, my father died, the usual, Akira gets possessed by a mom's sperm. At the same time, Ryo goes, hey, by the way, I'm Satan Teehee. Now Akira can do sick kickflips. Miki beats up people who are bullying Miko, and Miko is big, huge lesbian. Cyrene shows up and fights Akira 80s OVA style, and she leaves, probably to a better movie. Remember that guy that Ryo tried to kill with the hedge clippers? Yeah, Jinmin eats him for the lulz. Miko comes back to school, and she is Devilman now. Miki defends Miko, though, so it's okay, they're in lesbians. Miko later saves Susumu from evil demon parents. Fuck, I don't remember a lot of this movie. I don't want to watch it again. Oh yeah, Nagai shows up and he looks like he hates being in this movie. Bob Sapp is revealed to be Xenon and he now has 3 heads. Miki and Miko share lipstick because gay people. Ryo shows up and shoots people. The CGI in this movie is so fantastic. I love how they use most of the budget on the CGI. Also, I love the bit where Miki's dad finds out Akira's possessed. Accidentally transformed partially in front of him. Ugh, I hate when this happens. Also, there's this creepy camera guy who stalks Miki. There's no point. He films her for no reason. They put him in Crybaby because Yuasa hates us all. Akira gets taken by the demon hunters and they shoot him while he's crucified. Miki's family dies and then, oh god, I hate the church scene. Akira puts Miki's severed head on an altar. I hate it so much. Oh, how can I forget Miko's epic sword lesbian moment? Good for her! We have Satan versus Devilman and then Ryo dies too. Miko survives because she's a sexy lesbian.
The end. You could not pay me to watch that movie again. 2005 saw the release of Shin Violence Jack. It ran from May 13th, 2005 to April 11th, 2008 in the now discontinued Seinen Magazine Weekly Comic Bunch. I could not tell you if this was meant to be a sequel to the original Violence Jack or Nagai is pulling some like weirdo remake. Knowing Nagai, we all know the answer. I wonder if this is like meant to be a continuation of that other Violence Jack thing from 2001.
Jack comes out of the water and approaches some school kids and then sets up shop in their school. He's going to protect them from evil pirates who are run by this man known only as the Skull King. He kind of looks like Bane from Batman. The Skull King lost his memory, so he's trying to find out who he is. The kids decide to follow Jack because he's cool. Eventually, they find this new city that's being attacked by some weirdos trying to reenact some Chinese dynasty. They team up with the pirates to attack the new city and kill Jack. It fails when Jack kills people by summoning demons. The Skull King is still having an amnesia moment and he gets a wig. One of the kids, Ushio, and another girl follow Jack as he hunts down the pirates and the army people. Jack suggests that perhaps they're all in hell. They find a new city where the Skull King and his demon horde are harassing people, but the Skull King is like, bruh, what's going on? I don't want this. Jack is de-aging for some reason, suggesting that time flows weirdly here. Skull King keeps a command base in a castle with the townspeople's women locked up. Dog Miki is here, but she's like actually a dog. She helps the gang find the Skull King, kind of. She's asking for them to put her face back on her body. Jack, meanwhile, finds the Skull King and they duke it out. Ushio and Sara, the chick I mentioned earlier, save the remaining girls who have been demon food. Jack and the King's fight is so strong and powerful that it makes the castle float away. Everyone gets out while we find out who the Skull King is. It's Akira. In a wig. Miki gets her face back and hangs out on the castle. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, it really ends right there. Every time I hope, oh cool, I wonder what the guy's building up to, it just ends. I'm guessing this is like a retelling of Violence Jack, except it focuses on Akira making the world be like this. I don't know, man. Demon Knight is a 3-shot manga that ran from March 2007 to July 2009 in the seinen manga Mandala. The fan translation is questionable like many other things, and I will not specifically name drop people, but you know. Demon Knight is tricky to ascribe since it's intended to be a prequel to the original Devilman manga, but it makes no sense. This focuses on the Knight Amon, the God Prince Lucifer, knockoff Cutie Honey, and Cyrene.
The first chapter opens up on how the evil demons are ruining the world and are feared for fusing. Amon sees that the mountain where God sealed all the demons away is collapsing. The God Emperor sent his son, God Prince Lucifer, along with Cyrene to help Demon Knight Amon destroy the demons. Knockoff Cutie Honey hangs out with her furry friend named Urga? Whatever. Who says the enemy is on its way. They fight a bunch of demons and eventually catch up with the main trio. They offer their hand in fighting against the demon horde. In the midst of fighting, Cyrene fuses with a giant bird to become the demon we all know. Later, Lucifer and Knockoff Honey get enveloped in a light that fuses them together along with a Pegasus that they are riding to become Satan. After fusing, Cyrene approaches the other demons who reveal that they have no fucking clue as to what's going on. Me too, buddy. They ask her to leave them and she says, no, there's someone else. It's goddamn Satan. Satan goes to find Amon and the furry is like, I have evolved. I am a demon who is not a demon. This is evolution. It cuts off and we see Akira and Ryo talking on a rooftop. Apparently what we read was Akira's dream. He thinks that Amon's memories are surfacing as dreams. Also, as he's explaining it to Ryo, he says that Lucifer was pretty like an angel. I think Akira says things sometimes. Ryo suggests to Akira that maybe he should fuse with more demons if he wants to gain more power, and Akira's like, my demon form's already ugly. Okay, thanks, bye. Then Ryo's like, why did I have that dream if I didn't fuse with a demon?
The translation is kind of terrible, as I said, so I don't know if what I was reading is like the correct dialogue, but regardless, it contradicts so much shit in canon. Another side story came out in 2007 and served as a one-shot about Cyrene called Cyrene Tanjo Hen. This was published in a collection of one-shot mangas for Go Nagai's 40th anniversary of being a mangaka.
This story focuses on a young woman named Lisa Kamitori, a mixed Russian-Japanese model who is asked by some fashion designer to partake in a party. In actuality, the designer has been possessed by a demon and they are seeking a human vessel, specifically for Cyrene, to possess. They think Lisa is the woman for the job. Initiate a Sabbath in an attempt to get others possessed too, and okay, so the guy, I swear, looks like Dante from Lady, and he starts saying the exact same stuff Rio says in the original Devilman. Lisa is the only one who didn't drink the alcoholic beverage, so she doesn't abandon her reason. During the slaughter, Lisa attempts to escape as everyone around her turns into a demon or gets eaten. Suddenly, Cyrene comes in and successfully possesses Lisa. Or does she? Instead, it appears Lisa has won out over Cyrene and starts slaughtering demons left and right. Cyrene's male wife, Kaim, comes in and helps Lisa escape. The next day, Lisa wakes up with no memory of what happened while she hears reports about a fire that killed 400 people at a party. Lisa later laments about some loser named Amon.
Another piece of media involving Cyrene in a strange way came out in 2010. Devilman vs. Robo ran in the seinen manga Champion Red for 4 chapters. Robo is a manga by both Nagai and Ken Ishikawa, an assistant of Nagai's. Ishikawa had passed away 4 years prior to the release of this manga. Ishikawa and Nagai were great friends, so I'm assuming a crossover was done in honor of him. I have no knowledge of Robo outside of the fact that it's the reason we have Gurren Lagann and Voltron. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole can of worms to unpack. The series is credited with making the very first mecha to have many robots come and join together to form a big, huge robot.
The plot involves the demons striking a deal with the antagonists of Robo, who are, lizard people. Yeah, I know. Akira and Miki go to visit Michiru, a friend of Miki's at some lab. The Robo Boys, I don't know who's who, I'm just calling them the Robo Boys as a collective, try to be weird to Miki, and Akira calls them pig and beats them up. Good for him! There's a storm coming and Michiru offers to let Miki and Akira stay the night. Miki and Michiru have some kind of moment in the bathhouse. A gay moment, before they get attacked by Gelmer. Akira hears the scream and tries to save both of them. The Robo Boys prepare for a battle and attack. Akira saves Michiru and reveals to the Robo Boys he's fused with a demon. Now, Akira and Miki seem to be some kind of combination of the anime and manga canons, because Akira says Devi when transforming and makes no mention of Rio. Whatever, I guess. After the failed attack, Cyrene attacks herself because she's angry about the whole Akira fused the Mon. Ma'am, please stop getting upset over Ramon. Kaim is right there. Robo Boys and Akira attack. They need help, so Michiru tries to use some other mecha but needs a co-pilot. Miki gets the pilot of mecha, hell yeah, baby! Defeating Cyrene proves to be too hard, so Akira and the Robo Boys fuse to make Devil Getter. They win, and then Cyrene fuses with the metal that she was whatever. Akira unfuses and then makes her think about Amon to get her to unfuse with the metal. Akira and Miki head home after that, joking about meeting up with other Go Nagai characters.
Hey, so what the fuck was up with Michiru and Miki and the hot spring? Nasty fetishization of sapphics, but there's no straight explanation for that. Next in our lineup is Gekky Man. Gekky Man technically isn't a spin-off or an adaptation, I guess. It's a combination of redraw the original Devilman manga and an autobiography of Devilman's development. It was released in 2010 and concluded in 2012. I don't know what magazine it was published in or its exact release date. MangaDex has classified it as seinen. Like many other things I have covered, the fan translation is questionable. I appreciate those who worked on it, but there are a few glaring errors that I think need to be taken into consideration. However, a friend of mine is working on a better translation and I used some for parts of this video. If you want to read it, it's in the description down below.
We learn a lot about the development of Devilman and the co-creation of the TV anime. Most of this section is going to be little tidbit facts, such as the TV anime asking if they should put Rio in the story, but Nagai's like, haha, no, I'm gonna kill him off, he's not that important. Cyrene was a request for the TV anime, and Nagai wanted to make the most unconventional harpy design ever. They told him to put clothes on her. Nagai also cancelled his most famous manga, Shameless School, the one he was known for prior to Devilman, so he'd be in better health.
In fact, a lot of Gekky Man's thesis is, wow, the manga industry is fucked. I swear, I think I read somewhere that Nagai said he had back problems after he was finished working on Devilman. Anyways.
When Nagai originally killed off Mr. Asuka, he didn't make it evident he died. He couldn't even move the story without Rio, so his editor told him to bring it back. We don't get a lot of tidbits about the gym or the spider fight, and most of the thoughts are about the Cyrene fight and how to end the story.
So, the Cyrene fight. I think some of you are aware how Nagai originally intended for Akira to, rape Cyrene.
Thankfully, his editor told him to cut it out. The most interesting fact is that it seems that a lot of what they put in the 1972 anime would later influence Nagai. The anime staff asked Nagai to design a similar-looking character to Rio and have him befriend Akira, only to betray him and actually be a demon. Nagai was later told that due to the anime ending, the manga would end as well. And he fought really hard to get an extension, even saying if he censored a gore scene in the manga, then extend the story for 2 more chapters. After cutting so many things from the story due to a lack of chapters, Nagai finally settled that the best way to conclude it was to have Miki die and Akira be unable to save her. I can't explain why, but Miki's death in Gekky Man is so much more gruesome in the manga. Maybe it's because he was able to include the delinquents here like he originally intended to?
I'm not sure where this rumor came from, but on the Villains Wiki page for Satan, the trivia section says that Nagai's original intended ending was Satan surrendering or whatever and gets arrested. Honestly, I don't know, but I don't think my problems are scarier than the cops. Rio Asuka would willingly do that, but okay.
The actual intended ending is Akira waking up as Mr. Violence from Violence Jack. This was later included in Violence Jack, but minus someone calling out to Akira.
Following the conclusion of Gekky Man in 2012, Nagai produced a single-volume manga called Cutie Honey vs. Devilman Lady. Chapters were published in the Seinen magazine Champion Red Ichigo. I have to, of course, warn that the translation is sketchy and likely inaccurate.
As the title suggests, this focuses on Miss June Fudo of Devilman Lady and Honey Kisaragi of Cutie Honey. Lon assigns June an assignment to hunt down the devil beasts that are attacking the school Honey attends. I'm not too familiar with the lore of Cutie Honey outside the fact that Honey goes to an all-girls Catholic school and they're all horny for her. Honey finds out that her roommate was getting frisky with another student when they were peeped on. The next day, June becomes a teacher to closely investigate the situation. Both June and Honey are suspicious of each other and later fight a devil beast, albeit separately. The beast turns out to be a student jealous of Honey's roommate getting frisky with that other student. Honey thinks it's a part of Panther Claw, the main antagonist of her series. June later attacks the Devil Beast again, and the Human Alliance manages to capture her. Lon tells June that there's still a Devil Beast at the school. Cutie Honey sees her roommate get captured by the other Devil Beast and fights against it. Meanwhile, Panther Claw comes for Cutie Honey again. June tells Honey she'll take the Devil Beast while she deals with Panther Claw. Both successfully defeat their respective enemies with June killing the student? Like, hello? They reveal to each other their true forms and become allies. Nagai pops up at the end like everyone gets a happy ending. Yay!
Thanks, Nagai. June and Honey didn't in their respective media properties. Speaking of ladies ending, I have another sequel for you. Devilman Saga is a seinen manga that ran from December 24, 2014 to March 10th, 2020 in the magazine Big Comics. Nagai said he wanted to do a more mature story and play around with the themes in Devilman and decided to make it a stupid-ass Silicon Valley office harem manga. Like many Devilman things, we have an inaccurate scanlation and it's incomplete. And the site where you can read all the raws for Devilman shut down and nuked itself. So, where does that leave me in telling you about Saga? Well, with some handy-dandy translations people did themselves. And what my friend Pixie Dream on Pixie remembers of the official Italian translation. And some guesses based off of tweets I saw from Japanese fans posting about it. Will Saga ever get a finished scanlation or a better scanlation? The world may never know.
Just a saga is that this guy named Yuki Fudo is invited to join this company in California that's owned by his childhood friend Ryo Asuka called Le Phare. Yuki Fudo looks like a burnt chicken nugget. Look at this fucker. Le Phare does robots and shit, and Mr. Yuki has a PhD in robotics. They're like, tee-hee, come join our company. We don't build drones for the United States military, tee-hee. They do. They totally do. He took the job because his own company, Robot Dream, was going bankrupt, but technically he's okay because his wife, Miki Fudo, yes, I know, is some big sexy journalist. She's doing some kind of investigation with some kind of robots blowing places up. I don't think it really goes anywhere. Like I'm serious. I asked Pixie, does this come up again? And she said no. Also, we have another knockoff cutie honey, aka Tsubasa, and Kaim joining the cast. Okay. Tsubasa tries to redacted Yuki. It's only because they find these ancient armors that let them get possessed by a demon. Miss Honey gets stuck with Cyrene, so now she wants to redacted Yuki. Kaim fuses with the Kaim armor. Jenny is here. Tsubasa isn't the only person trying to fuck Yuki. Ryo has joined the ranks in a dress. Of course it doesn't work, even with the kiss. I'm sad, I'll come back to this later. Yuki fuses with the Amon armor. It seems the armors are from another dimension, so they use the armor for war or whatever. Yuki's like, no, I'm a pacifist, sad face. Whatever, burnt chicken nugget, and God. Okay, I asked Pixie if anything interesting happens again. I have been told it's really, really boring. Anyway, so there's this buildup in Saga that Ryo is Satan. Like, he's introduced wearing that slutty dress, he says he's intersex, and has booba. He says it's fake, and just a prank with fake boobs. But that dress was opened back. That dress was opened back. Ryo then talks about Satan like, hey, did you know? Satan and the Archangel Michael are twin brothers. A plot point that's from Lady. So what is this? A sequel to Lady? No. It's not. This doesn't go anywhere. From what I can tell, towards the end, Miss Jennifer reveals to Ryo whomst he is. It's not Satan. I'm being serious. He isn't Satan. Like, who the fuck is that in the prologue then if not Satan? Who the fuck is that? He's Ashura. And he has 3 heads. 3 of them. I don't know what leads up to this moment, but Yuki reveals that he's Devilman? Maybe? To his wife? Then it ends like Lady and they go fight a quote-unquote interdimensional god.
According to Pixie, this is somehow the tamest Devilman-related media Nagai has ever written. The weirdest thing that happens that I know of is...
It's hypnotic breast milk. Cyrene is forced to drink another demon's milk and thinks the demon is her mom.
God, what the hell was this manga? A year later, a new OVA dropped called Cyborg 09 vs. Devilman. This premiered on October 17th, 2015. Oh shit, that was my 20th birthday. It was a total of 3 episodes that were about 30 minutes. The OVA is geared more towards Cyborg 09 fans. I'm not familiar with the source material whatsoever. Devilman likely got picked to get matched up with it, as Nagai was an assistant on Ishinomori, the mangaka of Cyborg 09.
We open up on the cyborg bitches fighting some kind of god cyborg. I don't care. However, we get a sick adaptation of the Jimin fight in monochrome style that follows the manga. The cyborgs find out that there's some evil demon nonsense going on and think Akira is their enemy or some shit. The Devilman characters in this don't really appear and their characterizations are kind of bland. I like Miki though, she's good. Anyways, a new student named Ava transfers into Akira and Miki's class. Miki's like, oh hello, girl time. Ryo and Akira do their demon hunting while 2 of the cyborgs manage to see them. 009 and Akira fight with both of them losing their arms. Ryo puts his trench coat over Akira and holds hands with him. In the next episode, we find out that the organization that made the cyborgs has the subsect that's being used to make cyborgs fuse with demons. They're using Ava's brother, Set, who is fusing with an enemy of Amon, Atun. Ava uses Miki as bait. The third ep, the cyborgs go to confront this mastermind while Akira and Ryo rescue Miki. Akira fights the Atun guy while the other cyborgs deal with a weirdo organization. Eventually, the 009 guy helps Akira defeat Atun, and they part ways. Also, I love Rio saving Miki on the boat. It's so funny. After the credits of the third ep, Jenny is here. Satan is literally in the opening and we don't see him.
So in addition to the Cyborg 009 OVA, we have a manga companion. This was written by Akihito Yoshitomi. It ran from October 14th, 2015 to February 24th, 2016. I couldn't find the magazine it ran in, but Kodansha was the responsible publisher.
The plot is really different from the OVAs. Akira, Rio, and Miki have been brought to the future of some kind. It looks as though it's supposed to take place a few years after Miki's death, but they don't know that. The humans have casted a bunch of Devilman out of an oasis and are using the Cyborg 009 people to block them. The people who have brought both the Devilman gang and the Cyborg 009 gang are trying to set up some kind of fight, with Miki being taken in by the Cyborg 009 side. They try to set up Joe, the main character of 009, and Akira to fight to cause some kind of universal combination. It seems as though this was an experiment by Jenny, who realizes this was a mistake and goes, maybe I should wait on awakening Satan. Okay, bye.
I was mad. This had such a nice setup, and then it just ends. Boo, you hate to see it. They tried to force Aki-Miki propaganda, but they gave me a side dish for Akira, so I'll take it. Cute! Oh boy. So, we've reached the end of currently available Devilman things, and that leaves Devilman Crybaby. It's the adaptation with the most heated debates and discourse. So, to get this out of the way, I am personally not a fan of Crybaby. I don't care if you like it or not, because at the end of the day, it is just an anime, okay? Okay. Devilman Crybaby was a part of a huge celebration for 50 years of Go Nagai being a mangaka. His other two biggest series, Mazinger Z and Cutie Honey, also received adaptions. I haven't personally watched them, but I have not heard good things about them. So, Crybaby premiered on Netflix on January 5th, 2018. It was directed by Masaki Yuasa and produced by Science Saru. The screenwriter, Ichiro Okuchi, he also wrote the Utena light novels that I have things to say about, that I mentioned in my Utena vid.
First step is entirely Volume 1. I don't want to compare adaptions, but the OVA did Volume 1 in 50 minutes. We've got our exposition, inciting incident, call to action, and Sabbath in 22 minutes. I do like the Sabbath interpretation here, though. It's fun. Well, it's kind of overtly sexual, but Episode 2 is Akira being a horny ass, really unnecessarily. He's getting a lot of new attention at school with his newfound physique and attitude. Akira realizes something is off and runs off to find Rio, who explains the events of the night before him. They decide to go out and hunt some demons. Episode 3, a creepy photography guy, that they stole from the live action, caught Akira transforming while hunting down demons. His editor tells him off and tells him to do a photo shoot with Miki. The Gelmer and Ogwell fight takes place here instead, and Gelmer possesses Miki, making the fight harder for Akira. He saves her, but Akira finds out Rio shot the photographer guy. Akira gets mad when Rio threatens to shoot Miki. It cuts off with a phone call. Episode 4, Akira's mom came home to visit. They're waiting to meet at the airport. Too bad, so sad. Akira's dad got possessed by Jinmin. So now Akira's mom gets eaten. For no reason at all. Rio stands there the whole fight, telling Akira what to do. Rio's the one to shoot Jinmin before Akira punches Jinmin through the stomach. Episode 5, Akira's emotionally devastated about his parents dying that it leads to the Cyrene fight.
Oh my god, what do I say about this fight? As I mentioned previously when talking about Gekky Man, Nagai wanted Akira to rape Cyrene, so Crybaby decided to put it in.
God, I hate the pacing of this episode. Uh-oh, I'm a horny Rio. And then he just hands him cash, and Cyrene tries to be a horny little bitch to a 16-year-old. You've completely ruined Cyrene by making her motivation be, I'm gonna fuck this guy who stole my boyfriend. Come on. Her trying to kill the guy who stole Amon from her is good. Episode 6. It's really just a redone attempt of the Xenon attack, but Rio is the one to reveal demons exist on his...
Hey guys, what's funnier? His YouTube or Twitch channel? I can't say TikTok because TikTok wasn't popular in 2018. Twitch.
Thanks.
Ryo is the one to reveal demons exist on his Twitch channel. He does so using Coda. He's another character he got introduced. I think he's supposed to be like a reference to Mondo and Mito from Violent Shack. Anyways, he does so using Coda at a track meet. This is also, of course, how Akira finds out that there are other Devilmen. Unfortunately, this led to the removal of finding out that there are other Devilmen because of Miko. It sucks because they expanded her role in Crybaby, but she only interacts with Akira twice. Yes, I'm serious, I counted it twice. In the whole thing. Come on, man. Also, having Ryo reveal the demons makes his character look worse. Episode 7, the paranoia kicks off. God, it really sucks that they're using Ryo to amp up the paranoia. It makes him look so much worse than he needs to be. We are also dealing with the buildup of Tari getting possessed. Akira is mad at the inaction of Ryo while there's carnage going on, and Ryo tells him it's pointless to fight the demons. Humanity is going to perish. Whatever. In the original manga, Ryo says this so Akira won't get hurt. It takes out Akira slapping Ryo in anger. Boo! You hate to see it. Ryo has his panic attack scene when God attacks the US Navy, but Akira isn't there. Boo! You hate to see it. Episode 8, Tari loses control of the demon that possessed him and eats his mom. Kozo gets shot by the demon hunters and dies. Meanwhile, Ryo goes back to figure out who he is and ends up in Peru and... God, why are the native people in this show treated like this? Jenny comes in and reveals he's Satan. Akira is confronted by Xenon while burying the Makimuras, but is saved by Miko and Jenny. Ryo then betrays Akira on TV like in the manga. I'm confused as to why Ryo says, oh, demons are anyone dissatisfied with society, when in the manga he goes on TV to disprove that theory. That's the best way I can phrase it. Episode 9, haha. Miki accepts Akira and he leaves to avoid getting caught by the demon hunters. Miki and the delinquents decide to make a break for it, but Miki goes on Instagram and defends Akira. She gets doxxed, of course. Miko and Miki have a love confession and a hug. Miko real. The mob comes and they leave the delinquents to die. They escape to the river, but Miko kills herself to give Miki a chance to escape, but it fails. Miki is still killed. So while this is going on, Akira doesn't go to confront Ryo at all. He literally decides to defend some humans. Then at the last minute goes, oh fuck Miki, and okay, they killed Miki at the river. Why did they go back to the house? He incinerates all the humans. However, this marks a moment of Akira saying that he's not going to protect humanity anymore, but he still wants to protect humans after this. Okay. Episode 10. Finally, Akira approaches Ryo and confronts him for betraying humanity. Ryo's like, tee-hee, I'm not human, then BAM! Satan. So for some reason, we get the exposition of demons at the very last ep. Everything that Ryo explains about demons was explained in the first volume of the manga. Hello? Whatever. They gather a bunch of Devilmen and the demons prepare for a final battle. Masami Izumi is not here, and while I'm low-key unforgiving of this, they gave us Taco, so it's fine. The final battle of love and hate is expanded upon, then Akira is split in half, just like the moon. In the midst of this, we have a montage of Akira and Ryo as children, and that shit hurted. You can't do that to me, Yuasa. That shit hurted. Akira and Ryo are found lying on the same cliff that they met on, with the earth in shambles. Ryo says the famous, "Why am I the only one talking?" revealing that Akira is dead. Ryo starts sobbing, realizing that he killed the man he loved, and realized he loved him at the last minute. Say what you want about Crybaby, but when Ryo starts crying at the end, that shit hurted.
So I wrote this script through the perspective of analyzing Crybaby as an adaptation of Devilman, since this is a video about different adaptions of Devilman. If I were talking about Crybaby as its own separate entity and that was the only Devilman thing ever available, I would probably not be as harsh. But I didn't want to complain the whole time, and this was a lot longer, and it was like 3,000 words originally, and I said, okay, I don't want this whole thing me complaining the whole time, but I think there's a whole separate video to complain about Crybaby as an adaptation, but that is not the video I want to make. But I think I have things to say, so you are going to hear them. Many of the changes that Crybaby made as an adaptation bothered me. Many of the conversations in the story are moved around from the manga and it changes its meaning. I'm appreciative of the fact that they gave Miki a life outside of Akira, but it came at the cost of watering down her personality. I don't like how she's representative of purity when, like, her being a bitch enhances her role in the story. She's representative of humanity, and making her be nice ruins the point of no one is a 100% a good person. I liked Miko's role expansion, and as I said earlier, I'm counting Miko in Crybaby and Miko in the manga as the same person, okay? Okay. I'm glad that's something outside of the cinematic masterpiece of the live action movie gave her a larger role, but I feel like she doesn't interact much with the main three, and it shunted her potential. She doesn't even really interact with Miki. She doesn't even interact with Rio, and I'm supposed to believe that Miki and Miko are in love. Okay, whatever. I mean, I'll take it because I like it when girls kiss, but oh boy, Akira. They cannot decide what to do with him as a character. He's a nasty, horny asshole, but then he's a hero and they like position him in like some mater Jesus figure thing. What do you want to do with him? What do you want to do? Even if I were to analyze this through the perspective of this is the only Devilman thing available, I can't even say Akira's a consistently written character. His writing is based upon what they need done for the scene rather than his choices move the story. Even in Gekky Man, when someone suggested, oh, why doesn't Rio get possessed? And the guy replied, that's too easy to make Rio the protagonist. Akira's the one we've been following. It's his choices that have been moving the plot. But I am going to get attacked for this. So, yes. Crybaby Rio is not great in comparison to his manga counterpart and is arguably a very out-of-character interpretation. However, as much as I dislike his characterization and wish he wasn't emotionless blob who suddenly cry, that's not my biggest gripe with the show. However, the choice to make Rio be the one who realizes he's in love with Akira until it's too late, that ruins the story. Why else would he have gotten Akira possessed? Also, you can like remove Mr. Asuka from the story and it would only change like maybe 10%. More or less. The fact the show ramped up a lot of the sexual content because like the nudity in the 70s was a big deal, so they decided to make teens be overtly sexual on screen. I don't think there's anything wrong with suggesting, you know, teens can have sexual desires, but the way they did it, it's like, why didn't you just make them adults, okay? Jesus. But the reason I think for so much discourse and criticism of this anime is because it's the only Devilman adaptation available worldwide to actually cover the whole story. So this is overall the like last consumable Devilman thing that like anyone can find. There are things that some Anglophone fans cannot readily consume. So why don't we talk about them? This title is lost media because it's either not translated, there's no RAWs, or it's not physically available to the wider fandom. Or all three. We'll go in release date order, so let's start with Raijin Thunder. It's a very early draft of the original Devilman anime. Some sites say it ran from May to July 1972. Others say it was a one-shot. I can't find any RAWs for it. There was another 1972 anime manga adaptation by Masaru Isako. I don't know the name of this manga or how to find it, but there is a take of the Devilman manga in the style of the 72 anime. What's next? Ah yes, the famed Devilman novel by Yasutaka Nagai. This light novel was also called Shin Devilman, but for all intents and purposes, I'm calling it True Devilman to avoid confusion. It spanned 5 volumes and included giving names and backstories to characters like Mr. and Mrs. Makimura, our favorite dog Devilman girl, Masami Izumi, and the demon who possesses her, Paruffle. This is the origin of Akira's parents' death in the Himalayas, as well as Jinmin eating Akira's mom. The books are really hard to find, and only had 2 editions ever published. It originally had a 1981 to 1982 run, and then a reprint in 1999, which... I managed to get a copy of the 1999 reprint! I think I, overpaid for it. But hey! I have a copy of Volume 1! Twitter user Shallow did an old translation of the 1982 print. She let me use her old translation on the basis I fix it up and show her the vid. So, hello Shallow. Here is your shout out. My translator lackey, Mr. Michael Rival Cobalt, was so kind to translate a bunch of the shit for me. You can pause the vid and read all the stuff he did, or you can go in the description and click the link. Yasutaka would later write 2 more novels adapting his brother's manga. Tokyo Matsubo Hen released in 1986 and was the first part of a duology for Violence Jack. The sequel, Kanto Slum Guy Hen, dropped in 1987. If someone wants to hunt it down and translate it, be my guest. Chibi Chara Go Nagai World had a one-shot release in 1992, but I couldn't find any raws. Another Violence Jack novel was released in 1995, but it was not by Yasutaka. Tatsuhiko Dan wrote Violence Jack, The Golden City, with Nagai as the translator. No further information is known. There is another novel written in 2003 called Devilman Cometh. No details are known. All I saw were crossovers of Devilman with Cutie Honey.
Technically, the Pachinko game from 2013 isn't lost, but it's not fully accessible to the public, and all you can really find is the ending screen. Devilman Lady also received a Pachinko game as a sequel.
The 2 most recent Devilman-related media that is lost is the prequel novel to the Cyborg 09 vs. Devilman OVAs. I'm assuming it gives us backstory to Akira's possession and whatever the hell goes on in Cyborg 09. The other one is Violence Jack 20XX by the person who wrote the Amon manga. It started in February 2021. To date, no one has scanlated it, and I have not seen any raws floating around.
I don't know the release date for some of these things, but one is the Chibi Chara video game. I've only seen one person play it, and he told me he couldn't get past a few levels. The confirmed final boss is Satan, who makes the infamous crying sprite. It's because the game can't fully render him.
The other game is a mahjong game where it looks like you can play as Miki, Tare, Akira, or Rio. I can't find a Let's Play of it, and I don't know of any way to download it. Go figure. There was a vid of the opening of it on YouTube years ago, but I think it got deleted. It's been lost to time. Sad. If I'm missing anything, feel free to share in the comments because Devilman content that isn't already known is hard to come by.
Hey guys, so in the midst of getting everything finalized for this video, this tweet dropped that said that there was going to be a new Devilman manga for the 50th anniversary called Devilman Gaiden Ningen Senki by Fujihiko Hosono and written by Go Nagai. It's probably in the same case as the Amon manga. It's not coming out until January 23rd, 2023, but the fact that this happened while I was trying to get everything ready is very funny to me. I can't win.
Mr. Nagai has put us on his wild ride for many, many years. I have no idea what this man put in his manga to make people go nuts over it, but here we are. Devilman's following and influence is insane, and yet we still can't get cute merch. Thanks, Dynamic Pro. After 50 years, we can still see legacy in things like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Even with its themes being specific to the time period of the Cold War era, things like demons coming out of the ice due to climate change are still applicable to today, which Crybaby did something about that. The fact that Devilman is now 50 years old to have enough staying power to still get so many stories proves that despite its many flaws, it really defined the shonen genre. We wouldn't have influential works like Neon Genesis Evangelion or Berserk without it. Thanks, Devilman. Oh the time loop theory. Is it canon? Are the adaptions really a part of some intricate timeline like Ava was revealed to be? No, it's not canon. It was just mentioned offhand in the Amon manga. But also that makes me wonder. So many works influenced by Devilman have a time loop element. Did people theorize it was a time loop before English fans got a hold of it? I wonder. That's another video though. Anyways, see you guys whenever the next part of the franchise drops. Can the next adaptation please let Ryokira be
Ginger, the public wants to know, what is your opinion on Devilman? She's reading it. Sniffing it. You don't like it? Okay.